What I went through was extremely painful, and God has a plan for our pain. Every single question, feeling, everything that I wanted to process, I called someone.
It was your community that became the holding place for the big emotions. I'm going to go to a safe person.
I loved that you highlighted the safe person aspect, because I think people are using the phrasing, this is a safe space, but we don't build safe spaces. We connect with safe people. It's not a rupture that ruins a relationship. It's the lack of repair that does. That repair is possible, and it requires humility, and it requires discernment, and it requires courage.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Sometimes we turn to funny places for support. We find ourselves confiding in a hairdresser or suddenly downloading on our neighbor at the mailbox. It's helpful to chat with trusted people, but when it comes to real issues, complicated challenges that we face in our lives, sometimes we need more than casual advice. We need to talk with someone who is trained to help us, and that's where BetterHelp comes in. Therapy has been such a game changer for me personally because I know I'm talking with someone who's actually credentialed and focused on helping me grow. And with BetterHelp, you don't have to spend weeks hunting for the right fit. They've been matching people to licensed therapists for over 10 years with a 4.9 rating from more than 1.7 million reviews. And if your first match isn't the right one, you can switch at any time for no extra cost. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Find the one with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/bestofyou. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/bestofyou. Hey everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of The Best of You. Here we are on video. I still kind of can't believe that we can be here where you can actually see me. I want to name something I'm seeing everywhere right now. So many of us are carrying big emotions. We're carrying grief, transitions, weariness, and the temptation when there's so much going on is to pull back, to go it alone. I can just do better by myself. I won't risk being hurt. And if that's you today, today's episode is, I hope, just a hand on your shoulder, a quiet, honest, non-shaming, gentle invitation back into community. Today, I'm joined by someone who has lived this message in real time, Toni Collier. Toni has been on the podcast before. We love Toni. She's so real. She's an author, a speaker, and the founder of Broken Crayon Still Color and the Still Coloring podcast, where she invites honest stories of healing and resilience. And Toni has a brand new book out. And since we're on video, for those of you watching, I can show it to you. It's called Don't Try This Alone: How to Build Deep Community When You Want to Hide from Your Pain. It's something we can all relate to. And it's such a tender, courageous guide based in Toni's own story, which she's going to share a little bit with us about today, about finding the kind of people who can help you hold what feels overwhelming. Some of the worst life experiences are mitigated when we have people who can come around us. It's how God made us to live in this world that he's created. And also, we're going to talk about how to become that type of person for others. In this conversation today, Toni and I talk about why safe spaces are really made by safe people, the 3 key steps needed as you build authentic, safe friendships, and what it looks like to walk through betrayal, rupture, and repair without losing your own soul in the process. And Toni gives language to things so many of us have felt but haven't known how to name. A few highlights I want you to listen for today is how Toni talks about living on offense, not defense. She had built this community before the crisis hit, so there was a net to hold her during crisis. It's such an important thing I want all of you to have, is that safety net in place. God forbid a crisis does come, you want it to be there, right, to hold you when that crisis hits. She talks about the difference between isolation and refuge, right? Hiding can feel protective, but healing requires presence, and how repair is a skill. And it isn't the rupture that ruins relationships. It's the absence of repair. And she offers practical, gracious language for coming back to the table when things get bumpy. If you're new to Toni's work, you'll hear the same heartbeat that runs through all of her work, this conviction that your story isn't over and that beauty can emerge right in the middle of the mess. And if you've been following her for a while, you'll hear the deep wisdom that has been formed in her through these last few years and some really personal confessions and stories that it brought both of us to tears, to be honest. I also want to say, as someone who cares deeply about the integration of faith and psychology, I think Toni's new book is a real gift. It's honest about pain and equally honest about hope. So if you've ever wondered, where do I find people who can help me hold all that I'm going through, or how do I become a safer person for other people? This conversation is going to meet you there. So let your shoulders drop while you're listening and maybe invite God's Spirit to just tap you at whatever part of your soul needs to hear something from this message. I'm thrilled to bring you my conversation today with Toni Collier. What I think is really powerful about Don't Try This Alone, the title in and of itself and the book itself, is it's really about the importance of safe, authentic community for healing. And we know this. And so we'll get into the how you find that if you don't have it and how to create it. But I want to start with your story because the impetus, right, for your need of this community, which thank goodness you had the scaffolding for when the crisis hit, which doesn't always happen, was a betrayal in your marriage, a significant betrayal that led to a divorce.
Yeah.
Can you share with us about the moment you learned about the betrayal? It was out of the blue, as I understand it.
Yeah.
And just how that played out.
Yeah. So I will never forget the day. It's September 19th, 2023. Oftentimes we remember big dates where we celebrate things, and then we remember really painful dates as well. And so September 19th was that date for me. I was actually in Nashville. I live in Atlanta, but I was in Nashville filming for a TV network for this beautiful Christian TV show that I get to do. And I got a call in my hotel room from my now ex-husband, and he was like, "I've got to confess some things." And I'm like, no. And the reason why I kind of already had some just knowledge and understanding of what he was going to confess is because this wasn't the first act of infidelity in our marriage. It was just the first one that I was aware of in a long time. The infidelity originally started in the second year of our marriage, and we'd gone to counseling, and there had been some forgiveness and trust kind of rebuilt. And so this call was a shock, but also it was familiar. And so my ex-husband confessed to being extorted by someone that he'd hired for sexual favors. And there was a video out there, and it just was devastating and surprising. And in the same breath, as soon as I got off the phone with him, I called two of my closest friends that are in my confessional community, my group therapy group, because they had been on this same Christian network filming this same show the day before. And I say that part of the story because I just want to testify to someone that what I went through was extremely painful, and God has a plan for our pain. And the plan that day was to have two of my closest friends who knew a bunch of my story, a lot of my pain, who was right there. I mean, in person. We live in different states, so that's not a normal thing. But we were in the same state, in the same city, in the same hotel room, on the same floor. And they came for me. And I gotta say, I just don't know how well I would be today if I didn't have my people saying, "Hey, this is really painful and it's really heavy, and alone it could crush you. But with us, it won't." And so, that's a little bit of context on the story.
I really want to get into the community piece because that's the thrust of the book, is how that carried you. Before we get there, I know one thing I often tell people when they receive news, crushing news, especially in the form of a betrayal, is wait. Don't make big decisions out of the big emotions.
Yep.
Right?
That's good.
How did you navigate that as you process this betrayal? And I understand it almost, though, in some ways, because it had happened before and you'd worked through repair.
Yeah.
to have it resurface in that way, it's almost even more. I mean, we can't compare what's harder, right? But that
Right.
it's all just
Yeah.
devastating. But
Yeah.
how did you navigate the
Yeah.
emotional aftermath that allowed you to get to a place of clarity? Because so often with a betrayal, you have to make big decisions in the middle of big
Yeah.
emotions, right? You're
100%.
parenting, you're trying to
100%.
figure out a relationship.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about how you process that in the immediate aftermath.
Yeah. I love what you said about the waiting and about the pace because I do agree. I think in that moment, it could have been so easy for me to respond to my ex-husband and say, well, it's over. Bye. Don't talk to me ever again. It's over. I'm shutting this thing down. I think I've just learned over the years that I'm not the smartest. I don't have all the answers. I don't always make the best decisions. And so I need people to help me wait. And so for me, what
Mm-hmm.
that looked like is I just rallied all the troops and I said, listen, I need y'all to walk with me through this because I want to run. This is
Mm-hmm.
painful. I want to run away from this. I want
Mm-hmm.
to scoop up my kids and take them to safety. I kind of sort of want to move to a different country. Okay. Like
Mm-hmm.
I want to leave the situation. And at the same time, I've been intentionally using more ands, less buts. Okay. Because
Mm-hmm.
we can hold all of this together, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to do this well. Children
Mm-hmm.
are involved. I can't move
Mm-hmm.
as quickly as I probably want to. I can't run away from the reality that I have a public platform. And at the time, we were both pastors, church
Mm-hmm.
planters, planting a church. Like, I can't run away from that community. I have to be wise. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes wise means slow. And so for me, my confessional community, they're so sweet. They kept calling. We did some emergency Zooms. I added a couple of people to what I now called my freedom board. It was like an advisory board of women who either had walked through this before or had wisdom and
Mm-hmm.
understanding of being a leader and being in public and going through betrayal and divorce. And I just didn't make any moves without them. Every single question, feeling, everything that I wanted to process, I called someone. I did not dare do it alone. And I think, if I'm honest, that's the reason why we're still standing with such goodness and grace and freedom in our story. That's why it didn't, completely set everything ablaze and our whole lives were crazy. I think it's because I did it with people and I moved so cautiously with them.
I've always been a nighttime teeth clencher. For years, I'd wake up with a sore jaw and headaches, and my dentist kept reminding me how important it is to protect my teeth. That's why I use Remy night guards, because I'm not alone. About 30% of U.S. adults clench or grind their teeth at night. Remy's custom night guards are clinically tested to protect against grinding, reduce jaw tension, ease facial muscle strain, and even help you sleep better. They give you the same professional quality and comfort you'd get from a dentist, but at 80% less cost and without the hassle of an office visit. You can even use your HSA or FSA dollars at checkout. Here's how it worked for me. Remy sent an impression kit straight to my door. I followed their step-by-step instructions, popped the mold back in the prepaid box, and a few days later, my custom-fit night guard arrived. It fits perfectly, and my jaw finally feels relaxed in the morning. No waiting rooms, no overpriced bills, just a better way to protect your teeth while you sleep. Try Remy risk-free. Go to shopremy.com/bestofyou and use code bestofyou to get up to 50% off your night guard at checkout. That's 50% off at shopremi.com/bestofyou with code bestofyou. Thank you, Remy, for sponsoring this episode. Oh, that's so interesting. What I hear
Yeah.
you saying is what allowed you to wait. And again, not that any of those immediate reactions aren't warranted in these
Yeah.
cases, right? I
Yes.
really want the listener to say,
Yeah.
sometimes that is the immediate reaction. But in these
Correct.
big life relationships, there has to be some sort of process. And what
Yeah.
I hear you saying is it was your community that became the
Hmm.
holding place for the big emotions, right? I want to
Yep.
right now reach out and just shred him or, move to a different
Yeah.
country. So I'm going to go to a safe person
Uh-huh.
with those feelings, and those people become the
Yeah.
holding, the regulating with you.
Yeah. Can
Yeah.
I say this too? I loved that you highlighted the safe person aspect because I think in our day and age, people are using the phrasing, this is a safe space and we built a safe environment for you. And the truth is that is beautiful, but we don't build safe spaces. We connect with safe people. Like that's what it's the people that gets you through. I think it's easy for us to say, well, I just need to lay in my bed all day because it's the safest place to be. And maybe for some of us, that's a reality. But the truth is, I just think safety is built in the context of relationship. And that's what I had. I didn't want to run to a safe space and be isolated because I think sometimes when we're isolated, that safe space isn't safe anymore because it's just you and your thoughts and your emotions and your reactions. But when you put safe people into a space, then I think the space becomes safe.
That's a good word. Okay, so let's talk about it. You've used this phrase, confessional community. You've used the Freedom Board. I know a little bit about confessional communities. We have a mutual friend in Kurt Thompson. He's talked about them on the podcast. I was just at a conference with him where he was talking about them. But I want to hear it from you, being part of one. What is that? What does it mean to you? And how did you cultivate it? Because you and I have talked about this before. You did some work when you weren't in crisis to cultivate something that held you when you were.
Yeah. I call it living on the offense, not the defense. I'm from Texas. I'm a wild girl. I kind of just run. I don't really walk. Slow is not my vibe. Okay. But over these last couple of years, as I've been healing and healing in public, which is even heavier, I've just learned that it's just better to be prepared. I honestly feel like I sound like my dad. If my dad listens to this, he's going to be like, I've been telling that girl that for years. But I've been trying to live on the offense and not the defense. And this confessional community came about because of one singular human being that said, I don't want to live a life isolated. I also don't want to live a high level life. I want to live a deep life, an intentional life.
Yeah.
And that's my friend Jessica Honegger, who you know. And I'll never forget, she called me in the airport and she's like, hey, I want to do this thing. It's a group. We're going to meet every single month and we're going to go real deep. We're going to talk about our trauma. We're going to hold each other accountable and we're going to confess. And I was like, don't want to do that. Not really sure what you're talking about here. And I prayed about it and thought through it. And I was like, no, I want that too. I actually think it's the antidote to a lot of things, not just betrayal and divorce, but also accountability. I think it helps prevent addiction. I think it helps to address addiction. I think it helps to curate language around your feelings. I also think it gives us so much confidence and security in ourselves because we've got a group of people here who is committed to a life of sharing, a life of confessing with you. It's not one-sided. Everyone's in it. And every year we meet in person for a retreat and we go super deep and we're there for like 3 days, but it feels like 3 months because we are crying our hearts out and tending to each other and contending in the spirit for each other. But then every single month for 3 hours, we meet via Zoom. You've joined us on one of those calls and made me snot cry in front of all my friends as we did some part work. And it's that, it's what I believe at least Jesus had with the disciples, this group of people that he was intentional about within his circle. When we look at this idea that even Jesus had circles, his most inner circle was him and the Lord. It was an intimate space, just him and God. But then outside of that, he had 3 really close disciples, Peter, James, and John, the ones that he brought to the Garden of Gethsemane, the ones that he cried in front of, that he sweated blood in front of. And I think that's what this is. When you are crying, when you're up against something hard, I think it's special for us to examine our friendships and figure out the people who have the capacity to hold the weight of pain with us. And that's what this group is.
I love what you just said. Have the capacity to hold the weight of pain with us, because that's sometimes what happens when crisis hits. We have people, but we haven't tested that piece because sometimes people can't, and it's legitimate. Sometimes, right? And I love that you said that, the capacity to hold the weight of pain, and that had been tested before. Toni, for the listener who's listening to you saying, that sounds amazing. I don't have that.
Yeah.
How can somebody go about cultivating that with
Yeah.
because I hear you saying there was a lot of there's structure to it, because to have the capacity, we've got to have structure. There's got to be
Yep.
some norms. There's got to be,
Yep.
because it's hard. I know
Oh
it.
my goodness.
So how does somebody go? There's two questions in that. One is, how does
Yeah.
somebody go about beginning to develop that kind of safety net?
Yeah.
And what might they anticipate? What scaffolding is needed so that that safety net will hold? Because we are human,
That's
and
good.
it gets hard.
Yeah. So I think there's a couple of things. I think the first thing is that we have to be brave enough to admit that we need that type of community.
Yep.
And I think for some of us, it's going to require bravery, because for some of us, we've been the strong friend for a long time. We've been the one that everyone comes to. I get tender about this because I've been the strong friend for a long time. And it took a lot of humility and bravery on my part to say, I'm not the strongest all the time. I need breaks. I need help. I need people that'll say, I got that for you. I see you're struggling. And I've especially needed that over the last 2 years. And so I think for some of us, we've got to take that cape off and we've got to start leaning in. I think the second thing that's super, super important is that we have to transition friends that are currently there that don't have the capacity to hold the weight. I can remember around 24, I really started to get serious about my faith. I got saved at 21, but I was just a fan of God, not a follower. And at 24, 25, I was like, no, I really want to get serious about this. And I remember the Lord prompting me to start really taking a deep dive look at my community, my current community, because they were, people from college, from my past, party girls, wild, living life together, partying. And that wasn't the life I wanted to live anymore. And so unfortunately, I wasn't strong enough to have deep connection with people that still live that lifestyle, because then I would end up doing it myself. And so I remember doing something very brave and vulnerable, and it was asking the Lord to help me transition friends and help me to find new friends, which is childish when you think about it. Like, it's embarrassing a little bit, like, Daddy God, can you help me find friends, But I kind of think that's required of us. And I think the third thing is that it's anticipating that as an adult, this is going to be really hard. When I was writing the book, Don't Try This Alone, I was doing research on why it's so difficult for us as adults to develop friendship and why it's so easy for kids to do it. And two things came up consistently in all of these research studies. And it was, number one, kids don't have so much baggage in their stories. They don't handle or process shame in the same way as we do as adults. So when my daughter goes to the park and 52 seconds later, she comes up to me and she's like, I got a best friend now. Her name is such and such, and her and I played a play date together, and I gave her your number. Like, I'm like, what is happening right now? Like, for Dylan, my daughter, she doesn't have so much shame. So she goes right up to a person. She's like, you want to be my friend? And it's over. The second thing is, our parents and guardians were curators of community for us. So our parents brought us to the park around kids and jumpy places around kids. They put us in school. So literally the community was curated for us. Even all the way up to college, when we think about it, we're literally in a saturated, small campus with other people that are like-minded, there for the same reason. And so we have to find those places now as adults. We have to go to church sometimes, and connect deeply and not just sit in the back or in the nosebleed seats. We got to start serving alongside other human beings at volunteer opportunities and the gym. We have to go to the park, join a run club. Here's one of the things that I found in my research about community is that Eventbrite offers a subscription for you to go to events that are in your area. Like, you can just actually get on an email list with different events that have different people interested in the same thing you're interested in. And I would say the last thing is this. We've got to lay our personality types aside. The biggest thing that I've heard as I've released this book is, well, I'm an introvert, so this is hard for me. Well, I'm an 8, so I don't really like people. Well, I'm a this, I'm a that. I'm so sorry to break it to a couple of you out there, but your God-given design was to be connected with other people. And your personality type, I think, comes after that. Okay, so you're going to have to lay that down and really start viewing yourself as a person that needs deep connection, a person that needs deep community, no matter what day, month you were born, no matter what wiring you have, no matter what emotional color you are. You have to start thinking of yourself as a person that needs deep community like you need water.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. on that last point, it can look
Yeah.
differently for
Yeah.
different people. But I love that you're saying that self-awareness, all that
Yeah.
means is that might dictate a different approach to
Hmm.
finding the people, or I would prefer a group of 3 over a group of 12, but
Correct.
the baseline need is
Yeah.
universal. So I heard
It's
3
universal.
things, and I want
Yeah.
to, Tony, because it's so good, and I really want the listener to hear this. So the
Yep.
first thing I heard you say is this is a universal need. It doesn't matter. We have to have this. It
Surprise.
doesn't come naturally.
Yeah.
And so I love this humility. I need this.
Yep.
It's part of my God given design. The
Yeah.
second thing I heard you say essentially was discernment. It's not just anybody. I can have a great friend that I love to go out with on Friday nights. That
That's so
doesn't
good.
necessarily become my safe people.
Yep.
And I heard you say you
It's
went
like,
through a period, you had to get really discerning.
yes, and I want to give a practical tip here because I've gotten so many messages about this from people like, okay, but how? Like, do I just like peace out like you're dead to me? I'm like, no, clarity is kindness. The
Yeah.
conversation that I had, I'm gonna give you guys a script right now.
Yeah.
The conversation I had with one of my friends was, hey, I'm getting ready to go on a healing journey. I'm really pressing into my faith and relationship with the Lord. And so my friendships are going to look different. It doesn't mean I don't love you. It doesn't mean I'm upset with you in any way. I just want you to know that you may feel a little bit more distance and space between me because I'm getting stronger in the things that I do. I'm battling some things with addiction. Like I just need some space and time to really get more healthy. And I can't do that in close proximity right now.
Wow.
So that's like,
How did that go with
okay,
most
so
people?
one friend was like, hey, I totally understand. I'm here if you need me. And I'm
Hmm.
like, keeping that as a mental note, you're a
Yep.
person that I'm transitioning right now, but I could actually maybe transition back in later.
You're pretty safe. That's
You're
actually a
pretty
sign of
safe.
safety.
You're
Yes.
mature.
Yep.
There was another friend who's like, what are you even talking about? If you don't want to be my friend, just tell me. And it was in that moment that I, had continued the conversation and said, hey, truly, it's not about that at all. I am just personally not strong enough to be in deep friendship with you right now because I really would like to stop cursing. I want to stop drinking so much. I just had to provide more and more detail and more clarity. And that's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay to give people that, honestly, that respect of saying,
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere. I got to change some things about my life. And, unfortunately, our friendship never retached into a really deep, intimate
Yeah.
friendship. And she has great, lovely, beautiful friendships. And so do I. And we're both still standing and we're fine. But sometimes it's hard, and that's okay.
It's yeah. It well, and that leads to the third point, which I hear you saying is courage,
The bravery.
right? It
Yep.
takes to deal with the shame that might come up, the
Oh,
guilt that comes
yep.
up. I always talk about the guilt that follows a healthy, like
Hmm.
there's that
Like
courage,
transitioning.
that
Yeah.
peace that kids have kind of more, but that peace to be like, this is what I need,
This is what
and
I
I've
need.
I've got to lean into it. And
Yeah.
some people may not like it, but it's how I'm figuring out this path. Yeah.
Yeah. I also will say that a big question I get all the time, and this is for the listener, is, well, how can I trust again when I've been so betrayed?
Yes.
Because of my story and because of the public betrayal and divorce, I get this question a whole bunch. Like, but how can I trust again?
Yeah.
Like, I've been so deeply hurt. Like, when people look over the context of their story, they're like, when I'm in the most pain, it's if it's not a physical thing or a disease or anything in my body, it's because of people. And so the question is, how do I get back up again?
Yeah.
And I think I get a little bit feisty with this question because I know for me the first year after divorce was difficult, but I didn't have a choice. I had 2 kids. I had to move out of my house. I needed help moving a crib that was twice my size. I needed help furnishing my new house. I didn't have any income coming in because I got off stage to heal. Like I had no choice. I had to accept help.
Mm.
And I just think that it was the kindness of God to remind me that not it doesn't matter what happened in the past, but it can't matter so much that we jeopardize the future of our relationships. The people that hurt us betray us, broke our trust, caused the need for us to go to counseling. Like they don't get to have our future.
Yeah.
It's just not something I'm willing to compromise on. And I don't think it's something that you have to compromise on. And when I think about the way of Jesus, I think about this idea that he had 12 disciples, and all along, even when choosing them, he knew two would betray him. He knew Judas was going to rat him out. He knew it. He's omniscient. He's omnipresent. He's all powerful. He knew this was coming. He also knew that Peter, one of his closest disciples, would deny that he even knew him. And yet, the betrayal of the two wasn't more powerful than the beauty of the 10.
Hmm.
We have to walk like that. Just because my ex-husband betrayed me doesn't mean that God hasn't created and put other people in my life who I need, who won't betray me, who I can
Yeah.
trust, who are safe. And if I allow one human being and my experience with that one human being to tell me or influence me not to open up again, I would have lost so much connection,
Yeah.
so much love, so much help when I really needed it. So I just want to encourage you, and I want to be honest with you that this journey of community, of curating it, the ebbs and flows of moving to different cities and being hurt and being rejected, it's hard. I want to name it. I don't want to be one of those people that's like, it's so beautiful. It's awesome. Just do it. It's fine. No, it's so hard and it's so worth it.
I love that. Yeah, it's really it's funny listening to you. I'm like, it's really a thinking trap. I talk about these thinking traps to
Mm,
make an extrapolation based on one experience that
yeah.
everyone is going to be that way. It's just even statistically, it's not.
Yep.
And I want the listener to hear that the odds
Yeah.
you can bump into and we can do our work to figure out our patterns and figure
Hmm.
out if there's anything on our side of the street
Yeah.
that we
Yeah.
need to do about how we're choosing. Sometimes it's not our faults at all. Sometimes we are not
Oh,
making
yes. And
right the
yep, I
wisest
can affirm
choices.
that.
So we
Yep.
can do all of that. And when with all of that, there
Yeah.
will be safe people
Hmm.
out there. There will be.
100%.
it,
And I don't
it
say 100% about anything,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
I've witnessed it, not
Yes.
only in my own
Yes.
story,
Yeah.
but in the countless amount of stories that I get to hold from listeners, watchers, viewers, people in real life when I get
Yeah.
off stage, like, no, Tony, I had this happen to me and this really hurt. I lost all these friends and now I'm in a
Yes.
beautiful community and now I'm
Yes.
thriving and now I know what it looks like to
Yes.
have a real good friend.
Yes.
So I've just witnessed it. Like I'm a believer all the way. 100%.
I love it. I want
Yeah.
to, Tony, just in this kind of final segment,
Yeah.
how once you found people, you have this confessional community,
Yeah.
you find these people who are
Yeah.
people you can trust. There
Yeah.
are still within safe friendships this process of
Oh,
what we call rupture
yes.
and repair
Uh-huh.
in healthy marriages with our kids, right? So
Yep.
one of the things I think that happens to people when there's been a lot of broken trust, a lot of betrayal, is then when you encounter a bump in a normal,
Hmm.
healthy relationship, it
Yeah.
can feel like a pothole when really it's a no, this is just something we have to navigate.
Yeah.
What are some practical ways that
Yeah.
within this healthy community you've
Yeah.
learned to navigate the normal
Hmm.
bumps or ruptures and repairs that happen even within the healthiest relationships?
Yeah. I'm so glad you bring that up. I love being able to just confess that, our inadequacies, my own weaknesses. So I said a little bit earlier that the first year of divorce, it was really difficult to lean into community. I mean, I was continually fighting the lie that these people are going to hurt me. They're going to betray me. I
Yeah.
know what pain feels like. I mean, it just, for the first time in my whole life, I battled with forgiveness. I battled with anger. I am a Teletubby on the inside. So I felt anger and rage for the first time in a very long time. And so it was hard. And in that, I leaked. that pain, that anger from my divorce leaked into my friendship. And I want to talk about a specific moment. I won't get into much detail, but in our confessional community, we had a rupture and I was right at the center of it. Something was said that triggered me, not intentionally at all. These are beautiful, safe people. This is why I just want to affirm, like, even in the healthiest,
Yes.
most safe environments, these things happened. I got triggered. I was also battling a little bit with alcohol. I just want to be open and transparent about that. And I'm now sober. I'm a part of the sober community. I'm not even playing around with it. I wasn't like drunk, crazy, addicted, but it was something I started using to numb. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that person. And so I quit completely. But at the time, I hadn't quit. Emotions were high. Wasn't sleeping at all. I was on sleeping medicine, anxiety medicine. It was just not good. And something was said in our confessional community that deeply triggered me. And I left.
Mm.
I walked out of the room and I left everyone. And it makes me emotional because one of the phrases that we have in our confessional community is that we're never leaving the room.
Mm.
And I just was in so much pain that I left. And about 3 months later, I felt so convicted about it. And not in a shame-filled way, but I was the one that needed to repair the rupture. And
Wow.
I needed to lean in and I needed to explain what happened and why I felt this way and what responsibility I needed to take because repair requires responsibility. And so I got everybody on a Zoom call and I just apologized.
Mm.
I didn't use my pain as an excuse. I took it on as a responsibility to manage my pain well, to lean in and continue to share. And I got to tell you, a year later, which was this past month, we had our annual retreat, confessional community retreat in person. And I was a part of planning the retreat this year. And usually we go to a different place every year. And I just asked the group, I said, is it okay if we go back to the same place that we were in last year? Because I want to repair that space.
Mm.
And it was just beautiful. And I ordered everyone little acrylic paintings of all of us. And the saying that I put at the top was never leaving the room, dot, 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 without coming back.
Mm.
And that's repair. It's saying, I'm sorry. I value this environment. I value you guys so much. I value this friendship. I value what we've built. And I won't let my pain take us apart. I won't let the pain cause a rupture that doesn't get repaired. Because the truth is, Allison, and you know this, and you've said this, like, it's not a rupture that ruins a relationship. It's the lack of repair that
Yep.
does.
Yep.
And I'm here to testify because I've witnessed it and I've been responsible for the rupture. Um, that repair is possible and it requires humility and it requires discernment and it requires courage.
That's so good, Tony. I
Yeah.
just want to honor
Mm.
your willingness to share that story. One of
Yeah.
my favorite things is when the thing that brings me closest to tears is when someone raises their hand and said, "Oh, I was the one." That takes a
Oh,
lot of, because I can imagine there were reasons you were
yeah.
triggered. People hurt
Yeah.
us
Valid
even when
reasons.
they don't mean to
Yes.
hurt us.
Yes.
Words are so feeble. I feel this way all the time when trying to be with someone through pain. I'm so aware. I'm like,
Yes.
oh, words are a landmine, but we
Yep.
have to use them,
Yep.
right? There's
We
no
have to
way
say
out.
them. Yeah.
We we misstep, and boy,
Mm.
and we do get hurt, and
Yeah.
I hear in you just such a willingness again to
Yeah.
that's a big deal to be able to, because 3 months is an insignificant amount of time.
Yeah.
It suggests the level of the hurt to be able to really dig deep and go,
Yeah. What happened?
I have to look at my side of this. It doesn't mean,
Yeah.
again, we're not going to talk this through, and someone else might not say, hey, I need you to know this is what I meant.
Yep.
That's the repair, but I have to
Yeah.
show back up at the table.
Yep.
And I appreciate your sharing that.
Yeah.
That's going
Thank
to
you.
really speak to someone listening, right?
I
Whether
hope
it's we're
so.
the one that has to say, it's me, or
Yeah.
whether we're the one that has to be the one that says it's okay. But sometimes I
Yeah.
think that part is a little bit easier. It's
Yeah.
almost the in the repair. I
Yeah.
see it in marriage.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so hard.
It
It's
is
so
so
easy to
hard.
justify. I could, and I know in marriage they'll say you can be right or you can
Uh-huh.
stay married,
You can stay married. Surprise, guys. And you know
right?
what's interesting is that when I look at the formation of repair in our lives when we were just children, we weren't trained on that.
No,
I
it's not a
think,
skill we were taught.
yeah. I mean, I think about like what my parents said when my brother hurt my feelings or whatever. They were just like, say sorry to your sister, my brother, sorry.
Right,
And that was it. Now we're playing again. Now we're on
right,
the Nintendo,
right,
and we
right.
weren't taught to say, hey, I just noticed that there's some distance between us.
Yeah.
You know, when you're ready, do you mind talking to me about it? Is there something that I said or did that you can help bring awareness to so that I can fix it?
Wow.
Help me understand that more. The story that I'm telling myself is that you said that because of this, and that. Those
Right.
are tools, those are functions, that's a part of a framework that a lot of us were not exposed to. So when we cause pain to someone and they're upset with us, everything else takes the front seat. Our
Right.
insecurities, our
Yes.
shame, our denial of it, like our running, we run away from
Our
repair, we shut
attachment
down.
wounds, right? Our
I
own.
mean,
Yep. Yep.
everything. And what are we going to do when all of those things come up? Okay, we're going to have a
Yeah.
strategy. We're going
Yeah.
to have language in place. We're
Exactly.
going to be practicing conflict when conflict is not happening. We're going to be living on the offense, not the defense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that should be, I want that to be de-shaming for the listener. I love what you're
Yeah.
saying because it's hard to know what we don't know.
We
So
didn't have
often
the
it's like, I don't
tools.
know how to go
I didn't
back
have the tools
to
to
this
build
person.
it.
I don't know how
Yes.
to re-engage. The desire is there, but I
Yeah.
don't know how. And sometimes it's bumpy. Re-entry is bumpy, and we're afraid of
Yes.
that. And so the
Yeah.
path of least resistance, to get back to what we were saying, is just to stay isolated
Yep.
versus the bumpy road of, I
Yeah.
don't know how to do this. And maybe that's just a way to start when you need to repair.
Yeah.
I don't know how,
Yeah.
but I need you to know that what I'm trying to do is reach out, you know?
And I also love that you said bumpy. I
Yeah.
just got this visual. I always tell my friends, like, we're all on a bus together, guys, and we're gonna have some bumps in the road. But instead of just ignoring those bumps, we're gonna just make a little U-turn. We're gonna go smooth out that pavement, and then we're all gonna get back on the bus and have us a party. And And I just think like that's the reality of what's happening. This is
Yeah.
not all of us on a beautiful sailboat on a beautiful day, smooth sailing all the way. No, it
Yeah.
is a bumpy, sometimes hot, smelly bus that we are all on. I think about like a field trip. We're all on the way to have so much fun together, so much life together. But we may hit a pothole. We may run out of gas. We may have to pull up on the side of the road. Somebody's not going to get their favorite seat.
Yep.
Like, but we're on it
Yeah.
and we're not getting off.
Yeah.
We're going to
Yeah.
be on it together.
Yeah. It's good.
And it's beautiful. And here's what I will say too, because I hear someone saying, don't want to get on that bus, don't want to get on the bumpy road. I'm not down. I'm going to get car sickness. Like, we're going someplace beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to the places where fun can actually be had,
Yeah.
where freedom can
Yeah.
actually be
Yeah.
experienced, where
Yeah.
deep connection happens.
Yeah.
We're going somewhere fun.
Yes.
Get on the bus.
Yeah. Where the joys are all the much more joyful and celebratory
Yeah.
for the having gone through the bumps, right? You don't get one without the other, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
sorry. That's another hard reality that we have to face, that in order to experience the greatest amount of joy, we have to be open to experience the greatest amount of pain.
It's
I don't like it. I don't want to do that. Even just saying it, I'm like, I don't even know why I said that out loud just now, but goodness. And it's so worth it. It's
so
worth
worth
it.
it.
It really is. Yeah.
Tell us about, so this is your beautiful new book, Don't
Yeah.
Try This Alone. Tell my
Yeah.
listeners where they can find it, why you
Yeah.
wrote it, and what's in it for them as they're
All the
resonating with
things.
everything we're saying.
Well, you can get the book anywhere all the books are sold. Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Christian books, all the things. Audible's so fun. I got to record the book this time. It's fun. It's like action packed. I get to laugh a little bit. Like it's just a cool little thing. So, and it's actually really interesting, Allison, that the audio book has sold more than the physical copy. And I don't even unheard of. I love it. But it's just a super fun way to digest the book. And as far as what you're going to get out of it, I mean, it is truly everything we've talked about. It is how to transition friends that you need to put in a different, more safe space, how to identify real good, godly friends. What are the traits and characteristics we should be looking for? How to be honest about what you need as a friend, because that's a huge and big deal. Like if you can't name the things you need, how someone should treat you, talk to you, then you're going to inevitably end up with friends that hurt you, that talk to you in ways that you don't appreciate. So you have to know you in order for them to know you.
Yeah.
Right. And shout out to the best of you. Okay. I'm just saying. And one of the things I really love is the ending of the book, because I kind of turn it on you. We want good, godly friends, and we're not good, godly friends ourselves. And so we're going to talk about what that looks like right at the end of the book, for you to be a friend worth having friends. So that's the part I really love, because I do believe that we deeply desire the things that we're not willing to work for. And so we're going to have to do our work to get real good, godly community. And that's going to start with us. But I love it. I hope you get it. Don't try this alone. It's great.
You're so real, Toni.
Oh.
I always love our conversations. You just have this authenticity. You're so real, and it really tracks. And I just appreciate even letting us into the bumpiness of your own experience. It's what this is about, right? It's what this is about. We have to keep our real souls. It's ongoing work, and I just so appreciate you, and I'm so grateful that you shared your wisdom with us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm so grateful.
Thank you for joining me for this episode of The Best of You. Be sure to check out the show notes for any resources and links mentioned in the show. You can find those on my website at dralisoncook.com. That's Alison with one L, cook.com. Before you forget, I hope you'll follow the show now so that you don't miss an episode. And I'd love it if you'd go ahead and leave a review. It helps so much to get the word out. I look forward to seeing you back here next Thursday. And remember, as you become the best of who you are, you honor God, you heal others, and you stay true to your God-given self.